Welcome back to Carmichael here in Chapel Hill, home to the ACC Wrestling Championships. It's now time for the Consolation semifinals and our continued coverage on Mat 2, along with the great Nick Kloss. I'm Dean Linke. We'll take a look at the team standings. Of course, NC State going for their 6th in a row ACC title and 21st overall. And they've got a lead over Virginia Tech, 86.5. Virginia Tech 71.5. And Nick, here's the deal. Tonight, 5 of the 10 matches will feature Virginia Tech going directly against NC State. Take on Derek Fields. So 174. The winner of this match right here will be in Kansas City. So you got to love it. Eishen's already with that great win over Augustine. And now here's what's interesting. I mean, you got to figure NC State's Stars, the big favorite, Console, actually moved up a weight to go at 174. And if he can somehow pull off a miracle, that'll keep Glenn Lanham's streak alive of sending a Duke athlete to the NCAAs. Of course, he might have some other opportunities. I haven't looked at every bracket for an AQ, but I think it's limited at best. Fair to say?
I believe so. Right now, Barkett at 285. He's trying to get in that large bid. Taking on Katka.
Yeah, you had mentioned earlier that you liked his chances potentially.
He could. Coach Lanham has picked him out as someone he thinks has the skill to get there. Obviously, he's got to pick up the wins. I know coming down the stretch, there were some big wins he picked up, especially in ACC play, but it's not guaranteed. If not this year, he definitely has a good look at next year and a good understanding of how to wrestle at the heavyweight position in the ACC. So he's got a really bright future either way. Same thing with Gaetano Console, someone who Coach Lanham says is a guy who does everything right, works hard every single day.
Still zeros here in this one. That means so much because there are 4 automatic qualifiers out of 174. So the winner of the match right in front of us here, Mat 2, ACC Network Extra, will not only meet Eishen's, but it won't matter as they will have already qualified for the NCAAs. Doesn't happen that often, but there have been times when you get to the consolation final where one of the wrestlers at times does elect to sit out knowing that they're headed to Kansas City, depending on their health. Still at zeros here, Nick.
Yeah, right now, little surprising. Console really struggled in ACC wrestling. Obviously did not wrestle at 174. And there's Faison taking the initiative I thought he would. I think he's a very good wrestler. Obviously how he's done today. He has a couple ranked wins in the year. He's a captain for a reason. He qualified for NCAAs a year ago.
Trying to ensure he gets back there, and he will if he can hang on to this win.
Just a really good job. Gets across to that other knee, is able to pull it in while putting that left shoulder into the rib of Console for that takedown.
Faison with the thriller over Augustine from Pitt, and then he lost to Lewis, but it wasn't easy for Lewis. I mean, final score is 5-1. I felt like he represented himself well as he gets some more points here.
He's lost to Lewis in double overtime in his career, so a guy he has been up there with, which is really saying something for how good Lewis is.
Saying a ton. Well said.
And that's why I think that Faison is a guy that, you know, can take care of business here in the semifinals and is looking to get that third place spot in an AQ right here. As you see there, kind of does what his teammate Ivey's done a lot today in that one match he's wrestled. He got to the underhook with his right arm, started to rotate, pushing in, gets to the leg and swings behind for the takedown to make it 6-1.
Yeah, like Hiley, almost in bulldozer fashion, Nick.
Exactly. That's what I like about the NC State wrestlers. They wrestle like nothing's in their way. They can do what they want. They wrestle with a lot of confidence. And it's amazing how much the mental side comes into wrestling, because a lot of guys, they talk about, hey, in the room they do really well, and in practice they're doing really well. But can it click on the mat? That's a big part of it. If it can't, you know, you're not going to pick up those wins. And that's why you have guys who coaches talk about, oh, he's great. Sometimes he's just cold. He can't get it together.
He's on with more points. Wait, he put the 3 up, then he waved it off? Did you see that?
I believe so. He put the 3 up and then immediately waved it off. And here's another look at it. We'll see if great drag by, keeps pushing it away. I think right there's a takedown, right where he put his hands up, just like the official. I thought that's 3. I don't know why they'd take that away. They might have felt once he got down, then Consol immediately started to slip out, which wouldn't have been control for the 3 points. Either way, Faison up 7-1.
Faison has a little over a minute left here in the second. He has shown the ability to tech fall opposition. It's another way to lock it up. Decent track of that.
Yeah, if you want to end a match early, you got 2 options: pin or tech fall, and the tech falls win by 15 or more. Once you get to 15, they'll just end the match, which we've seen once or twice today.
Yeah.
Tech fall's not as common once you get to this ACC championship, but some of those 1 seeds just very talented. Ishins, I know, from North Carolina, had attack earlier.
Hidley has pretty much, I think, tech followed everybody in his weight class this season.
Wouldn't surprise me. If you look at Hidley's record this year, he's 5-0 in the ACC. Tech fault Max Stout, tech fault Max Shaw, tech fault Andy Smith. Major decision on Kinsey, and then tech fault Quasi Bonsu. So only 1 has lasted a full match.
Thanks for the double check there as he's on with his 7-1 lead.
As we will head back to 184 with our next match on mat number 1.
So heading into that third period in the other match, Gavin Kane now going against Connor Becker of Duke on mat 1. As you mentioned, we have some switching going on, trying to get through the matches quick.
So pretty sure Katko won, right, over Barquette from Duke. Is that right?
I do not know for sure. Try and get word on that. Looks like needed some blood time. Consol did come into this one. You see it on his nose. He already had a cut, so it looks like it got agitated. Needed some blood time going into this third period.
I'm gonna try to roll out of this. And spin out for a point. Consol basically needs some sort of miracle move here and a pin What a story that would be, as Duke really limited this year on depth. They had some athletes decide to graduate and not come back. They are a really young team. Well, there for a while, Glenn Lanham with the 4 fine silvers, and Casper had 5 automatics, like pretty much every year for the NCAAs. Now, the fine silvers.
Fine silver dynasty.
Oh my goodness. 2 sets of twins coming out of Colorado, and really kind of putting Duke wrestling on the map during that time.
I mentioned it with Cat Cut. Siblings in wrestling.
Yeah.
They do really well. Especially twins, because they're usually same size, same build, you're the same age. So you're always practicing together. You always have a built-in partner. Got some more blood time here on mat 2, which is the extended match mat. We've had multiple long matches here on mat 2.
There was one year, at least, where all 4 fine silvers made the NCAAs. 3 made it through the automatic qualifier. 1 made it as an at-large.
Yeah, now Duke trying to get back to a position where they're sending guys every single year. And this year, you just mentioned it, a very young team, so a lot to build towards. Console obviously wrestling up to 174, so not his usual weight. He wrestled at 174 for a duel against UNC last year, so not uncommon. And there it is again from Faison. Very similar to his teammate Hidley. Gets to the underhook and uses that. Could drop Console to his back right here, and Console sees it coming and gets to his stomach.
So Alex Faison, who went last year, is going to do it again. And do what? Well, he's going to go to the NCAAs. This time it'll be in Kansas City. And he'll get a pin as well. How about that with 2 seconds remaining?
Just for good measure. And also, that helps with the team score.
Yeah.
That does bump up NC State, who right now is with a commanding lead over Virginia Tech, and especially with so many guys in the finals, that's going to continue to go up. There's a look at that pin again. See the Console just trying to get around in a scramble. Faison's so good, he just sees it. He's like, okay, he's on his side. And we just throw in the extended half, get around and put him to his back and get the quick pin.
Continue our 3rd place matches here from Chapel Hill. Kevin DiDomenico and Tariq Wilson with you for our consolation final at the 174. Here on mat 1, it's Tyler Eichens for North Carolina, Alex Faison for NC State. Faison for NC State qualified for NCAAs for the first time last year, named a team captain this year. An 11-10 record this year with the Wolfpack. Eichens just pushes him all the way out.
Eichens is awarded that stalling call. Faison just ran completely out of bounds.
By way of a 6-2 decision at 133 pounds, Carmichael Yarborough punches the 28th and final ticket out of the ACC to Kansas City. And also joined by the 133 pounds with his victory over Grace's yellow outfit.
174 has 4 qualifiers, so this is again one of the better weight classes in the ACC. Eichens, the transfer over from Stanford, where he spent 5 seasons. Wrestled at the 157, 165. His first year and the most recent year with the Cardinal, 22-10 back in 23. Led the team with 6 pins, and the 3 seed looking for the 3 spot at the 174. Boy, Faison has had a couple of grueling matches so far here in the ACC so far.
He sure has.
Went to overtime with Augustine in quarters, beat him 4-2 by decision. 60 seconds left in the first. Attacks. Takedown.
Isis has the cradle locked up. He would have to get that knee in the side to look for that pinfall. I don't think he has it yet. His shoulder blade is still up. Oh, he has it. It's locked up.
Victorious by fall. And Tyler Ishins locks it up. 3rd place for North Carolina at the 174. Here's a look.
Faison took a wide shot, lifted that arm, then Ishins capitalized with that cradle, stuck in that knee right through the side, and eventually stretching Faison out to secure the pinfall in the 3rd place bout.
Again, this is a weight class that has 4 NCAA qualifiers, and Ishins, how about this? The emotions from Ishins and the passion for the North Carolina Tar Heel in his home.
Now between Holden Heller at Pitt and Derek Fields at NC State at 165. Again, 2 AQs here. So Heller, who came in as the 2 seed, fell to Brady 9-3. He came back. It wasn't easy, but he beat Estrada. So this is the 1-2 right here. Because of that, I feel like the picture's getting clearer as far as where some of those at-large bids might come, and I feel like we might be watching one right here.
Yeah, exactly. Fields and Heller, 2 guys who had phenomenal seasons, but Hamilton, who just looked really, really good in that 1st round match against Estrada, and then he ends up upsetting Fields. So it puts Brady, who was the 3 seed, who ends up beating Heller, and Hamilton, who upset Fields, or that's the championship match. And then you get a championship quality match for 3rd place. And you're right, these are 2 guys who probably are deserving of at-large bids.
The drama is not over. Just because we're getting a little bit closer to the setup for tonight's 10 championship individual matchups. They'll also crown a team champion and then give out the most valuable wrestler. I feel like this one, there's a lot on the line here. Fields and Heller.
I think there definitely is for both these guys, especially both of them want to avenge a loss that they probably feel they shouldn't have had. 2 guys who expected, based on the way their coaches coach them and they run these programs, expected to be in the finals.
Well, what's fascinating is I did NC State at Duke, and Coach Pops talking about the fact that they, again, the only weight class they didn't make last year's, they sent 9, was 165, and they had what he described as an all-out battle. And so now Fields coming in as the #1 seed. If he wins, does that complete the mission for Coach Pops?
Could be. Coming into this season, Coach Pops said the one weight class he actually didn't feel was fully set yet was 157. That was with Ed Scott, who ended up winning that battle, who's obviously as good as he is, as a scramble coming between Fields and Heller. Augustine gets a tech over Console in that 5th place match, and I imagine that might be enough to catch the eyes.
We got a little bit of a scramble here. It's crazy.
Great scramble between these two.
Fields beat Heller 7-1 back on January 26th.
Next up, wrestling for 5th at 184 to get a 9-point bearing match. Ethan Weatherspoon of Virginia and Connor Becker of Duke. Again, wrestling at 184 pounds on mat 1. Scoreless through 3 minutes of wrestling over on mat 2 at 3rd place at 165.
So Heller's going to be down to start this 2nd period. Fields, like you just said, had a decision win earlier this year on Heller, but that's not when you want to be wrestling your best. You want to wrestle your best right now here in March. Almost getting the takedown, or at least keeping Heller down. Goes out. Weatherspoon and Becker down the 5th place mat on mat 1.
No soft hands, he grabbed you. No rushing. No rushing.
Fields, the red shirt sophomore for the Wolfpack, placed 3rd in the U20 World Team Trials back in 2022 at 74 kilograms, and also 8th in the U.S. Open 74 kilogram U20 Freestyle Championship.
Stall warning there for Fields. Fields lets Heller go for a 1-point difference here in the 2nd period. This is only Fields' 2nd match of the day. He had the bye to the semis, loses to Hamilton, and then has a bye to the 3rd place match.
Before it gets too late, I do want to thank Lauren George and Evan Badler from the UNC Sports Production crew, who played a big role in getting all of this organized. Pretty sure Evan will also feature tonight as part of the championships on ACC Network. Alex Wheat will produce with Evan Badler directing. Our main man, Paul Beam, will slide over into the 8E spot for tonight's 7 p.m. ACC championships.
Fields just hasn't been much of the aggressor today. Another match right now going into the 3rd. Just a 1-point difference, only that escape being the difference here, and then 37 seconds of riding time for Fields. No one's really generating movement for a takedown.
Just a 1-0 lead. I want to thank Brandon Neff again, who is the associate commissioner, handles wrestling championships, and also Kevin Davis, who is the new ACC, for lack of a better word, SID for wrestling. Steve Phillips still helps out, but he used to be the main man here. Kevin's been great, though, getting us all the information we asked for. Speaking of that, I want to thank all the team SIDs for the work they do.
All the match notes we had to go through.
Yeah.
SIDs often don't get the appreciation they deserve.
Amen.
Now tied up Fields. It's the 3rd period. Make something happen. Good change of levels. Heller uses it to his advantage.
Here we go. Just getting away. It's still 1-1. And as I said 1-1, there was 1:11 remaining in the third. It'd only be fitting if we saw another overtime match here as part of our Mat 2 coverage.
Here's Heller. Heller could make this a potentially disastrous day for Fields, who comes in as the 1 seed. If he loses this one, he's 0-2, but now Fields is in a really good spot. So you hear those NC State fans.
"19 seconds remaining." Coach Pops.
Stahl comes in. Have to reset.
Stalemate. Meanwhile, Ethan Weatherspoon from Virginia with a 6-1 lead over Connor Becker in the 5th place match over on Mat 1. That one at 184.
And we go to overtime. Again.
I waited for you to say it this time, Nick.
Mat 2. The mat of extra time.
So well said.
So sudden victory here for this first period. Then it goes to the 32nd. Half periods and double overtime. One wrestler will be on bottom, and then the other shot, Fields.
And Fields gets it.
Ends it quick, just hops right out the gate, gets the takedown. The NC State faithful loves to see it. You haven't had to see them cheer very much because most of their wrestlers are in the finals, but a very nice takedown going for that double leg. Gets the win for Fields.
That could be an at-large, I would think, as the #1 seed. Wouldn't you guess?
I'd think so. Both those guys good enough to wrestle at NCAAs.
Well, there you go. That could also happen as well. We're going to take a break here, and we'll be back to wrap it up. A big and wonderful day yet again here as part of our coverage of the ACC Wrestling Championships. I want to thank Paul Beam, our producer, Joe Farrar, our director, Tanner Phipps, Anthony Hennig, Thomas Mahler, Peyton Brown, Ryan Gibbons, Chris Walsh, Mark Dry, Kevin Ducker, Nick Forums, Tim Arms, and Aman Patel. For Nick Kloss, I'm Dean Linke. Thanks for watching the ACC Wrestling Championships on ACC Network Extra.